Let's talk about this 20 watt RGB pocket light from Zhiyun, the M20C. Before we get into it, this is a sponsored review. If you want to learn more about that, that's down in the description. If you go to buy this M20C, just so you know, there is the combo version, which is what I have, and then the non-combo version. I highly recommend getting the combo version. It only costs like 30 bucks more. If you're interested in buying, those links will be in the description as well. First, what do you get when you purchase this little light? Everything comes inside of a box, and it has a soft pouch case, a USB-C cable, the light, a cage for the light, one magnetic diffusion, one magnetic grid, and one magnetic barn doors. Now let's talk about the features of this light. This light is RGB, so you got the full color spectrum, and then there's also bicolor mode with a color temperature range of 2500 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. Additionally, this light does have green and magenta shift control, along with 16 special effects. There's a microphone on the light so that you can use it in music mode, and it's powered from the battery inside, but also via USB-C. Additionally, there are 3 cold shoe mounts on the top and the sides of the cage, and a 1/4-20 mount on the bottom. Additionally, this light can be controlled from the back of the light and also via the app. This light is a perfect little square, and it is 3.5 inches tall and wide. This little light is detachable from the cage, which allows you to mount it in various ways. There's a little latch which unlocks it, and you can take the light out. Now, if you're using the cage has all those accessories you can mount magnetically to it, and the cage is also magnetic so that you could attach it to any metal surface. So as you can already tell, the light is pretty feature rich. So let's talk about fans, heat, and the light output. The runtime on this light goes for about 30 to 40 minutes at 100% output, and then at that point you have to plug it in, which we'll talk about in just a second. When the light is at 100% or about 80% even, the fans do kick in if you're in a warmer environment, and they do get a little bit noisy. You can definitely detect them. It's kind of like, I would compare it to a computer when it kind of ramps up and those fans kind of kick in on your computer. It sounds very similar to that. So you probably don't want your microphone right next to it, but if it's, 3 feet away, it'll probably be fine. As far as heat is concerned, this thing is totally fine. I don't have any problems with it. It's not too hot or too warm or anything like that. You can touch it, you can hold it, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. I do want to mention in standby mode, the fans do kind of ramp up to accelerate the cooling. This is part of its technology to keep it in optimal working conditions. So at this point, you're probably wondering how good is the light output on this. So I'm going to put up the readings here. I measured everything at 1 meter with my spectrometer. All right, so instead of talking about pros and cons, I want to talk about some things you should know about using this light. First and foremost is the cable that it comes with. I definitely recommend using it as it is rated for a power delivery of up to 60 watts. If you use some other cable, you might be limited depending on the power delivery that cable allows. What's really nice is the light does tell you the power delivery that it is receiving from a cable. So if you have one that doesn't quite have enough, it'll show it and then limit your output. Now, if you're using the light with the app, it is important to know that everything is accessible from the app. You can turn the light on and off, change the colors, color temp, whatever you want. However, the only thing you can't do is access the special effects or music mode. For some reason, those are not accessible via the app. I personally really did enjoy the app, just so you're aware. It's a great app. I've used it with all the Zhiyun lights. If you haven't checked out those videos, I reviewed them on the channel, so make sure you check them out afterwards. Another neat thing about the app is that it does have haptic feedback now, so it does have a little bit of vibration when you're changing the different settings. So it is kind of nice to have. Lastly, an important note about attaching the USB-C while the light is on. This is what I would call hot swapping. Normally, if the battery was detachable, it's not, of course. So if you're in a situation where the battery's dying and you need to supply power, you grab your USB-C, plug it in. When you do that, the light will turn off for a second and then come back on, kind of switching from battery mode to power delivery mode. And the same goes for when you remove that cable. It'll also turn the light off for a second as it switches back to battery mode. All in all, there's a lot you could do with these lights. There's so many features packed into it with these magnetic accessories. I took all 3 of my little M20Cs and I attached them together using the cold shoe mounts as a way to kind of make a larger light source, and that was kind of neat. It is worth noting that you can definitely use these lights to light up a scene. I tried these out with a 3 light setup one as my key light, one as my backlight, and one as the background light. And I gotta say, it was actually pretty great and I really enjoyed it. The background light was only at like 20%. My backlight also 20%. For the key light, I just had the little extra diffusion on the front of it and it looked pretty nice. Obviously, it's still a harsh light, but if you're in a pinch or you're looking to use this as an on-camera light, it is a really helpful light. I imagine wedding photographers or videographers will find this extremely helpful as an on-camera light. All in all, I really enjoy this light. I'm excited to see what other lights Zhiyun will keep coming out with, as they've already come out with 4 really amazing lights recently. I've reviewed them all, like I said, on the channel. So if you're thinking of getting one, use the links down in the description. It supports the channel. Thank you for doing that. If you have any questions, reach out and I'll see you in the next video.